What's up, everybody? How the hell's your day going? I hope y'all are having a pretty good day. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news, man. We keep you up to date and keep you informed and stay on top of exactly what the government is doing, because if we are going to push back against this corrupt Biden administration, corruption in Congress, and corruption all over the government with the deep state and all this stuff, we need to stay informed and stay on top of that stuff. So you can do that by following this channel, smashing that subscribe button, turning on your notifications, because YouTube isn't just going to post my videos up in your feed. If you turn on your notifications, it'll slip to your inbox every single time. And if you also could, as a friendly reminder, if you don't mind, smash that like button for me. That would be a big help, and I would be thankful for sure. That's for damn sure. But what's up, y'all? Yeah, okay, so as we all know, Navalny died. Alexei Navalny, which was the main opposition to Vladimir Putin. The guy was never going to win. But, you know, the West, us over here, likes the guy because he's in opposition to Vladimir Putin. And the Democrats and the left hate Putin right now. Of course, just about everybody hates Putin, but, you know, a lot of people on the right just don't really seem to care all that much about Putin. You know, he can do whatever the hell he wants to. He runs his country. He's the president of his country. What is that of our business, right? So, as we all know, Russia invaded Ukraine. If you didn't know, you might have been living under a rock. I have no idea, but some people do live under rocks. They do have rocks on their roof, but I'm sorry. Let's get into today's story right quick, because the arrogance, man, I'm telling you. White House weighs next steps after Navalny's death. Wait, what do you mean it's next steps? Yeah, Biden is now threatening Putin over this. How the hell are you going to threaten the president of another country because the main opposition in that country died while he was in prison? That is none of your business, Biden. Technically, sure, you can be outraged, but what do you mean next steps? What exactly do you think you can do? Let's get into it. In June 2021, President Biden warned of devastating consequences for Russia if opposition leader Alexei Navalny died in prison, which he did. But I would really love to know what these devastating consequences can be for a prisoner dying in prison in a totally different country on the other side of the world. The arrogance of these people. This guy thinks that he can do something to Putin because somebody died in prison. As that possibility became a reality Friday, the White House used Navalny's death to crystallize the dangers of walking away from Ukraine and NATO allies. There we go. There's our sticking point. And does anybody else ever notice? Like, leave a comment down below. Am I wrong for thinking "and" is not supposed to be the first word in a sentence? I always thought, like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't "and" a conjunction, which would imply that it conjoins two parts of a sentence? How can you conjoin two parts of a sentence from the first word in a sentence? I'm sorry. It's just a pet peeve of mine. People start sentences off with "and" all the time, and I don't think you're supposed to. I'm not, an English major or anything like that. I didn't go to college. As a matter of fact, I failed English in high school. I wasn't very good in it. So, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to start a sentence with "and." And the president told reporters the White House is looking at a number of options right now about how to respond to Navalny's death. Biden and other officials placed the blame for Navalny's death squarely with Russian President Vladimir Putin. In remarks from the White House, Biden excoriated House GOP leaders for going on a 2-week recess without taking actions on his request for Ukraine aid. Biden himself seemed to acknowledge the U.S. has already exhausted some of the ways it can squeeze Russia. The administration has rolled out a plethora of sanctions in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and thousands of Russians have died fighting there in part because of the U.S. providing military equipment. That's right. Not just thousands. hundreds of thousands. And hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have died. Scores and scores of civilians have died. And that is why I am a very big proponent of not passing this Ukraine aid, stopping the Ukraine aid totally, putting together some sort of negotiating package, negotiators, ambassadors, whatever, what have you, send them over there, go make a deal with Putin. Stop the fighting. If you got to lose some control of land in your country, so be it. Hey, work something out in negotiations. But it seems just evil for us to see two foreign countries fighting, right? One of them's fighting for their independence, sure. But it just seems like bad policy to see two people fighting and then go and say, start helping one of those people, just feeding them guns and money and all this other crap so they can keep on sending their soldiers to die. I do not get that. I hear people arguing all the time, yeah, but Russia invaded Ukraine. So what? Sure, that is no good reason to not try to stop the war. I mean, sure, Putin's evil for invading, but he's there. How are we going to stop this guy? How are we going to get him out of Ukraine? There's got to be some sort of negotiation, right? These people want to continue funding this war until the bitter end. What's the bitter end, you say? I'm assuming that means, to me at least, until there are no more Ukrainians to fight in that war. Because there is a whole hell of a lot more Russian soldiers than there are Ukrainian soldiers. And Putin doesn't seem to be giving up anytime soon, right? And there's the ratio from Russian soldier deaths to Ukrainian soldier deaths is like 5-1, I believe. Something like that. Of course, I saw that statistic a while back. It may be different now. I don't know. But that is horrifying for anybody that's in the Ukrainian army. I just don't understand the position of these people to continue to advocate for more war, especially when it's not our war. Why are they not wanting to stop the fighting? I don't get that. That's why I am not a proponent of sending more funding over there. We've already sent loads of money, $113 billion, right? The EU just approved and is sending $50 billion to Ukraine. So they're trying to blame Congress for Ukrainian failures. No, I'm sorry. Ukraine just got $50 billion from the EU. So no, they're not out of funding. That's another story I saw. Ukraine had to pull out of some city over there, and Biden is blaming Congress for that. Well, hang on. They just got a big influx of money. Giant cash infusion. $50 billion. Imagine what you could do with $50 billion. So don't give me that BS, Biden. That's just a bunch of crap. I'm sorry. This whole situation really pisses me off. At the beginning of this, I was like, yeah, war sucks. I don't like war. But, they invaded. They've got to defend themselves. Sure, let's send them some help. But then just sending them some help turned into $10 billion, $20 billion, $40 billion, $80 billion, $113 billion. All right, well, 2 years into this thing, it's starting to get very old, and I'm starting to get very perturbed, especially. What my turning point was, I'll tell you right now. My turning point was when it was like 6 months into this thing, they started having negotiations for some peace. Boris Johnson tanked those negotiations and said, no, we are going to fight until the bitter end, until they kick out Russia. Hang on, Boris Johnson. You live in the United Kingdom. You don't live in Ukraine. So what do you mean, we? Oh, you mean you're going to just continue to funnel money and ammunition over there and tanks and all this other stuff so you can let Ukrainians die? We've had members of Congress, members of the Senate actually stand up on the House floor and say, yeah, we're sending tanks and letting Ukraine die so our soldiers don't have to. They outright said that. That's insane to me. Let me know in the comments if you think that's insane. We have some warmongering people in our government, and I don't understand their position on their warmongering. Why? What is the good reason for war? You get attacked, you retaliate. Whatever. You don't completely obliterate them, though. You retaliate with an equalizing force. But we didn't get attacked. The UK didn't get attacked. Germany didn't get attacked. France didn't get attacked. Poland didn't get attacked. Oh, well, they kind of did. But you get the point, right? I mean, let me know in the comments. Am I wrong for thinking this? Let's get back to it, y'all. Meanwhile, the administration's efforts to provide support for Ukraine have been stonewalled by Republicans in the House, and former President Trump has, in recent days, renewed fears he would undermine the NATO alliance if he wins re-election. Yeah, because NATO shouldn't exist anymore. Why do we need an entire organization to run and be funded for a defense treaty? I don't get that one. Plus, NATO's entire existence was to counter the Soviet Union. Think about that for a minute. Let me know, once again, down in the comments section, give me a logical reason why if you put together an organization to fight against something, and then you defeat that something, and that something no longer exists, what is the reason for the existence of the organization? I would love to know the logical answer to that question, please. This tragedy reminds us of the stakes of this moment. We have to provide the funding so Ukraine can keep defending itself against Putin's vicious onslaught and his war crimes, Biden said. History is watching the House of Representatives. The failure to support Ukraine at this critical moment will never be forgotten. It's going to go down in the pages of history, he continued. This has to happen. We have to help now. We have to realize what we're dealing with Putin. Biden calls for Congress to act reflected the gravity of the moment when it comes to Russia. On top of Navalny's death, U.S. officials warned Thursday that Russian forces were close to taking control of the eastern Ukrainian city of Avdiivka. I talked about that a minute ago. That's that city I said they already had to pull out of. This story is obviously came out before that happened. And the White House confirmed this week that Moscow is working on anti-satellite capability in space. Which, so what? We already have that capability. It might not be nuclear, but we still have the capability to take down every single satellite that's in orbit. Yeah. It's called missiles. I don't know. These people are outright insane, if you ask me. The arrogance, right, to think that they can have control of what another country does is just, it just blows my mind, right? Just completely blows my mind, shatters my brain. To think that these people can put pressure on another country to force them to do something. How arrogant do you have to be to act in that way? Who the hell are you to try to do that? To try to force somebody else in a totally different country to do something? Am I crazy for thinking that that's a very arrogant and dangerous position to hold up? Let me know in the comments section. But, you know, I'm behind Johnson on this. He's like, we're not even going to take this up in the House. This Ukrainian aid package, that $95.3 billion package that the Senate passed, it's all BS. He said we're not even taking it up. I'm glad. It kind of gave me a little bit more hope that Mike Johnson is there to do the right thing. I understand his job and his position that he's put in. He's expected to be forced to work with Democrats. But he has the power to push back against all of them. And it seems like sometimes he gives in and sometimes he pushes back. So at least we have that sometimes he pushes back. Because the Democrats are doing some insane shit right now, and it's not very cool. and I don't like it a whole lot. But let me know what you think about all this down in the comments section, and that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and as a reminder, if you could, smash that like button for me. I would be greatly appreciative of that gesture. But thanks for watching, y'all. Y'all try to have a good day and be positive. Peace.